Hello everybody, Jonathan Latham here with you at Third Monkey, and just dropped my earpiece. Anyways, I've got a project here I've been wanting to work on for a while, and it put it off long enough, and so basically it is finishing out this guy. This is a mask that I had started years ago. It is basically a Klingon Mask, and I took an existing mask and added to it for the Klingon ridges, and have been wanting to get some proper hair on it for some time now. So since I had some leftover hair from my Third Monkey project, I thought I would use it. Gonna put this on it. So, there's all sorts of different ways. I'm just gonna get my headphone for a moment. Okay. All sorts of different ways to lay hair. I'm using this wonderful hair from Fiber. What's their names? Hair Fiber Technologies. That's it. That's the ticket. And also, I'm going to do a goatee on him, I believe. I'm going to do a goatee on this part. And I'm using an unconventional way to put this hair on, perhaps. I'm using a rubber cement. Yep, rubber cement. That's what I'm doing. All of you proper people who do this kind of thing probably are screeching at this point. What's going on with this shirt and jacket? I don't know. You're probably going, not rubber cement! But that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to trim this up a little bit. I have learned something about myself doing these videos. I've learned that I like to use the word so a lot. And I am trying to limit that. Trimming up some of this wild hair at the top so that it's not flying and frizzing all over the place. I'll go back and add a layer of just trimmed hair and glue that down around the edge so that the edge isn't quite as distinct. I've already got a layer of rubber cement on this. I'm waiting for it to dry up, and while I'm waiting for that to dry up, I am going to put some rubber cement right on to the upper back edge of this wonderful hair that I've got. Yeah. My chair is unwieldy. I'm about to need to buy a new bottle. I have used this a lot lately, and this is a two-part contact method. You probably know this already. You put it on one side of what you're going to glue down, and then you come back and put it on the other side of what you want to glue down. Wait for both of them to dry. If you've ever done any artwork, you know this tactic. And you wait for them to dry, and then you put them together, and by putting them together with each of them already dried, they adhere to each other and make a good tight bond. Now, you may be thinking, here, let's pull this in a little bit. You may be thinking and asking yourself the question, the same question I ask myself about this process. You may be saying, rubber cement, shouldn't I not be using rubber cement on latex? Isn't there a conflict there? Isn't it going to degrade the latex? Well, did you know that rubber cement is partly latex? So, I did it again. And unless somebody says differently, please feel free to correct me. It is perfectly okay to use rubber cement on latex since it has latex in it. And I think rubber cement is misconstrued a lot of times, thinking, oh, well, it's a petroleum-based product. But it is really not. One of the things about using this with the hair is that the hair tends to get all over the place and into the rubber cement, making a big fat mess. But you just have to press on. As with almost anything in life, you just got to press on. All right, so there we go. Get off some of those hairs that are in the way. Go back and trim this a little more so that we don't have those flyaway hairs, which I don't want, you don't want, nobody wants, while we're waiting for this to dry. Talked about it before. I will talk about it again. It's always good to have a nice, clean workspace. Mine needs a little bit of straightening up, but for the most part, all the garbage is in the garbage. The floor is swept, and I don't have a lot of things that are out of place. While I'm waiting for that to dry, this is where I don't understand the whole thing about multitasking and how it's bad for you and not as efficient and all of that rigmarole. Anyways, I suppose in some aspects it's not good, but yeah, I think in other ways it can be useful. For example, in this case where you're waiting for something to dry and you've got another project going on, and you can work on it while you're waiting for something else to dry. So I have just a 2-ply paper towel. I'm going to rip it apart. I'm going to throw this part out because it has a pattern on it I'm not interested in. The back side of this has a little bit of a pattern, but it's I don't know, it's kind of textured like pores a little bit. And I just wanted to touch base on how to make a latex nose that's got some structure to it. I know the coloring is slightly off, but how to make a latex nose that's got some structure to it without really making a mold, with only paper towels and latex. Okay, so did it again. I had this old nose form that I had done a long time ago and wanted to duplicate it because it was cracking and messing up and it was so old, and it's a little heavy because it's pretty much solid latex, as opposed to being a little more like an appliance. And I basically just put this on my face cast so I could hold it down, and then went in with layers of paper towel and latex and covered it and blended it out into the edges, and then waited for that to dry, painted it with some packs and some stippling of different colors, some washes of Liquitex acrylic, and then peeled it off. And there you have it. Just a really easy way to make a latex nose. I'm going to use this one in conjunction with my Frankenstein forehead, which is in the background over here. And I started working on the side bolts, which are going to be spark plugs. This is a real spark plug. This is not a real spark plug. I know you can't see it really well. It doesn't show up really well, but yep. I'm going to use the nose with that when I get it done. Okay, enough about the nose. Back to the hair. Put that right back on that. Right like that. Okie dokie. So, man, did it again. I think that's 3 or 4 times in this video. I am having a hard time breaking that habit. Any of you older folks out there, you'll probably recognize that. Say the magic word, and the duck will fall down from the ceiling, and I'll give you $50. Very bad impression of Groucho Marx. He used to have his own game show, believe it or not. Ma'am, is this your husband? Or are you here with a boyfriend? Should we air this or not? He was a very funny man. I'm gonna, contrary to what I normally would do, I'm not gonna start in the middle. I'm gonna start on one side. And I want to have this so I can use it for sideburns as well as the hair. And I'm going to take it up around the back so that there's some curve to it, so it gets higher from here up to the back, and then just right around and down again. And I have a little more than I want on this edge, so I'm just going to trim that. Helps if you don't have dull scissors. Save that piece for when I go back to do the goatee area. And just go around and press that down good and firm. I'll wind up trimming this maybe some so it's not quite as long. Yeah. I'm happy with that. I'm going to work on adding the goatee part to it. and doing a row of just hair by itself. And we'll come back with another part 2, and let you see how it turns out. You have a great day. Jonathan Latham for Third Monkey. Go out and make something.